KNWA contacted the school district several times this week regarding tips we received about a possible investigation.
This 36-page warrant outlines the crimes of former Haleyhughey Mayor Stacey Digby. And Casey Atwood with the Children's Safety Center tells me what's in these documents are signs of grooming.
4 people are dead and 4 others are hurt after investigators say a semi-naked man opened fire inside a Waffle House. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Haleyhughey. Well, Nate, it was completely heartbreaking to walk and see firsthand the devastation that has hit the city of Mountainburg. And some of that devastation you can see behind me. The tree is completely uprooted. You don't have anything to say about this?
Nope, this interview is over.
How does this qualify you to run for president if you wrote this past week?
Hard to miss one of the biggest fears and concerns for those who are living in these townhouse apartments. The balconies are completely covered in plywood and the railings are unstable.
After being found in South Arkansas, a wanted rape suspect is behind bars. KNWA received a call from a local restaurant about Dr. Joshua Gators, who earlier this week announced he's running for president in 2020, saying he wrote a bad check Monday for $1,500. We discovered this wasn't Gators' first offense and confronted him today about his criminal history. It's a story you can only see tonight on KNWA.
Well, speaking of money, are you able to explain these convictions from the state of Kentucky for that is check fraud or...
Dr. Joshua Gators, which is the name he's known by in Northwest Arkansas, wants to become the 46th president of the United States. According to police reports, he has at least 5 other aliases. Gators also has a criminal past. Today, we asked him about his theft and fraudulent check convictions. You don't have anything to say about this?
Nope, this interview is over.
How does this qualify you to run for president if you wrote this past week? After asking the question several more times and running after Gators, who was joined by his campaign team, including armed security, I finally convinced Gators to speak on his past and present. In 2008, Gators was convicted of stealing and writing bogus checks. Would you like a chance to defend yourself?
I would. Y'all stay back.
Gators says he's learned from his mistakes and believes after turning his life around, he's qualified for the White House.
You name one person in this country who don't have a past, and I'll drop dead right now. It's not fair to hold no one past against them. My job now is to correct those wrongs and do right from there on.
Except Monday night, while at a Rogers restaurant, Gators wrote a $1,500 check for his meal in the Single Parent Scholarship Foundation. The owner says the bank told him Gators' check bounced.
You want to know what? I knew nothing about this until, where's that check at? Until you just told me. My first time hearing about it.
Gators says they were dealing with another similar situation this week with a check, but that's all the details he would give. Besides, he was having issues with the bank. We then asked why he would continue to write a second check if he already knew they were having banking problems. Gators claims he had a, quote, million things going on, so he didn't think about it.
Who cares about a past? Everyone has a past. You have skeletons in your closet? Or have you been perfect your whole life?
Of course not.
Okay then. I haven't either, and I'm not dropping this campaign.
Recovery in Mountainburg is in full swing after an EF2 tornado tore through the small community last Friday. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Haleyhughey. Alex Capriello has the night off. KNWA's Kelly O'Neill shows us how volunteers are making a big impact on the cleanup. Thank you, Kelly. 1 in 4 people living in Northwest Arkansas is food insecure. In fact, NWA leads the state in food insecurity. To address the hunger problem in our area, the University of Arkansas and Tyson Foods are teaming up with Lift Up America. And with the help of university student athletes, 35,000 pounds of food were distributed to more than 60 agencies served through the NWA Food Bank. Around 70 student athletes from various University of Arkansas sports were on hand to distribute food with representatives from Tyson Foods and the Northwest Arkansas Food Bank. Sexual assault survivors and their supporters took a stand today saying enough is enough. KNWA's Peyton Yeager attended the march in Fayetteville and shows us why participants are so passionate about making a change. A teenager is behind bars after stabbing a man. Police are calling the incident a gang-related fight. The stabbing happened Monday night at the Regency 7 Motel on Walnut Street in Rogers. The teen is being charged with first and second degree battery plus a felony charge of engaging in a continuing gang organization or enterprise. According to police, a 17-year-old and 21-year-old man started arguing about a gang rivalry when they crossed paths at the motel. The 17-year-old then stabbed the 21-year-old. Rogers PD identified the gangs as 18th Street and 5 and 6. Now, Foster admits there are gangs in Rogers, but police officers do not see large or violent crimes committed by those groups. In more local news, Fayetteville police have made an arrest in connection to several construction site thefts around the region. 44-year-old William Hughey is facing 4 counts of property theft as well as a controlled substance possession. Several detectives watched several surveillance videos and saw Hughey stealing about $300,000 worth of equipment from several sites. Hughey may be in custody, but the investigation is ongoing. We're celebrating 20 years of Pink Courage. Tonight's tribute recognizes those who have answered the call to lead. Coming up on KNWA News at 10, we'll show you a unique event happening at the Amazeum. And there's only one rule. No kids are allowed. We have the details on this adult-only event. Melissa, what's the weather looking like today?
It's a story you'll only see here on KNWA. The 13-year-old's grandfather said his granddaughter was dropped off at the movie theater behind me multiple times by herself, where the two could have possibly met.
This isn't a national story. It didn't happen in California, Minnesota, Mississippi. Right here in Rogers, Arkansas.
On May 13th, 22-year-old Evan Ballard picked up the 13-year-old from her grandfather's house near Old Wire Elementary.
At some point during the evening, she was given something to drink with a drug in it, and then apparently had sex sometime during the evening hours.
The victim's grandfather says he isn't sure exactly where the two met, but knows how.
She met him through a mutual acquaintance who was a female who was 14 years old.
Although the police report says Ballard is a Malco Theater employee, we showed up to confirm if Ballard was an employee and his current employment status. The manager says he has heard Ballard's name but wasn't aware of the incident and would not comment.
So this is the first time I'm hearing about that.
So you think he's still an employee here?
I will call my district manager.
Okay. All right. Thank you. He says learning that his granddaughter was picked up from his house was devastating.
I was heartbroken. I just didn't expect the outside influences to show up here at my doorstep.
Since his granddaughter was introduced to Ballard by another minor, he says he would be shocked if this was the first time Ballard's done something like this.
It would be irresponsible, I think, to think that this young man woke up one day and decided a 13-year-old was the love of his life. My biggest concern is that I want to ask all parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever, take a look at the man's picture. I'm sure you're going to put it up. Look at his name. If he looks familiar, sounds familiar, start investigating.
The grandfather says if there are any other victims, he hopes that they will be brave enough to come forward. And with any new information that comes available, we will keep you updated. Live in Rogers, Haleyhughey, KNWA, Northwest Arkansas News.
So, is it famous? Horrible, though, that my first question is, what do they smell like? What do they smell like? I'm very curious.
That's a legitimate
is that a weird question. I mean, I know these are awesome shoes and very special shoes.
No, but you're right. You're talking about a pair of shoes that
you're paying $10,000.
35 years old. Yeah, 1983, so 35 years old.
But
no, these are legitimate questions.
Don't
if I'm paying $10,000 for a pair of shoes, are they going to stink up the rest of my closet?
But maybe that's the great part. They're vintage Michael Jackson smell. All right, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Good night.